Wow, US GDP surges 4.9%. So do you think there still will be a recession? Does that mean there won't be any recession? US economy is going to the moon. You know, Bitcoin stock market is never going to crash again, right? We're never going to get cheap Bitcoin like under 20K again. We're never going to get cheap NASDAQ stocks again. What do you think is going to happen next? So the US government publishes its data saying its GDP grew 4.9% and we think there's no more recession. Well, let me ask you this. How do you measure economic growth? Because there are a couple of different ways to measure it. For example, make it simple. How do you even measure inflation? Well, usually people go with two methods. What you're familiar with is CPI, Consumer Price Index, right? That's what most people think of when they think of inflation. But the Federal Reserve doesn't use that. No. The Federal Reserve uses PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure, right? So which is the better measure of inflation, PCE or CPI? Now, getting back to my point, how do you measure economic growth? How do you know the US economy really grew 4.9% in the last quarter? Well, economists also use another figure, which is not GDP, which is GDI. But how's GDI been doing lately? See, here we see GDI, the green line, is actually going down, right? GDP, the orange line, is going up. So there's actually a huge divergence between GDI and GDP, and usually they kind of stay pretty close together. But this is a big gap. This means, at least according to one version of how you measure economic activity, US economy isn't doing so well. In fact, it's below zero right now, which means negative growth. But what about, seriously, this recession that everyone's been talking about, right? A year ago, everyone was talking about a recession, and now they all stopped talking about it. All the media reports are saying it's going to be a soft landing. There's no recession. Why is this happening? Well, because they're basing this on the inversion of the 1 year to 10-year yield curve, right? I can make a separate video to explain what this is, but all you have to know is whenever this yield spread goes below zero, a recession occurs. See these gray bars, right? 2009, 2020, COVID crash, 2009 GFC, 2000 dot-com bubble. These are all crashes or recessions caused by, well, predicted by the yield curve inversion. It's basically almost 100% accurate. But however, it's not when it inverts, when it goes below zero, that recession happens. It's when it comes out of zero. Say, when it goes below, when it comes out of zero, when it goes back above again. See, there you go. That's when recession happens. So where are we at now? So see, this is the inversion itself. It's gone below zero, right? About a year ago, and spent this whole year, right, past year or so, under zero. And now it's snapping back very quickly, and we expect it to hit zero sometime in the next 2 or 4 months, which means recession is very likely coming in the first quarter or first half of 2024. Even though all the media reports are saying it's not going to happen, Pablo here is saying it most likely will. For now, though, it seems Bitcoin is running up, rallying on this Bitcoin ETF narrative, and it'll probably stay strong for another couple of more months, right? Even sell on news when the ETF does get approved. The NASDAQ is taking a dip, but I personally expect the NASDAQ to also continue rallying after a while. It'll be a blow off top. And then in 2024 sometime, when the recession comes, we're probably going to get that big bear market as happens in most recessions. What happens next? Follow Pablo for more updates.